So Gingerbread Junction wouldn't be complete without a cute little card, and that's what we're going to put together today. So I have all the pieces here in front of me. Let's take a look at what we have, and we'll just kind of break it down into segments. It's kind of like a gatefold sort of card. But anyway, we've got a boy and a girl, gingerbread man and woman. And we're going to begin by getting all the pieces here for our female version. And we're going to put that together. And we'll do the same thing with our cute little gingerbread man. So this is the base piece here. We're going to grab the white piece. It's going to go this peach color, then white, then the brown. Okay, so go ahead and get your glue onto our cute little gingerbread lady. And we'll get that glued into place. And there's like 5 different sections, so we'll, 2 of them are kind of joined together. We'll do those first, and then we'll put the card together in the end. So just take your white piece here, line it up. I'm looking at where the eyeballs are, and making sure that that is nice and aligned, and then everything else should just sort of fall into place. Okay, and then we'll take our brown piece and get our glue on that and pop that into place. And just kind of take this, take the approach methodically, and before you know it, we'll be done. And this is the last piece from the bundle that I have to put together, and I'll be getting into shooting mode. Okay, so our little gingerbread lady has a cute little dress, a nice red dress. So we'll get that on, and then we'll move on over to our gingerbread man. Okay, so take a look at the little cutout here and just match that up with the cutout on the brown part, and then that should just kind of fall into place. Now, when we're all done here with the assembly, we're going to make some cute little bows to put in her hair, and then kind of like a little bow tie for our gingerbread man. Okay, so that is that for her. Now, you do want to find a little snowdrift, and that's going to go right down here, just like a little puzzle piece. Okay, so let's get that in place, because that is ultimately going to go onto the actual structure of the card. Okay, so just kind of pop that in like a little puzzle. Make sure it's up as high as it can possibly go, and that it is nice and aligned. Press that down. I did ink this with a little bit of like purple. Okay, there we go. All right, now what we can go ahead and do, actually I've got a little piece of that kind of sticking off. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper and clean that up. I want it to be nice and flat and flush on the bottom here. I can see this little section. Maybe didn't get enough glue on there. I don't want that peeling off. So I'm going to clean that up and just be patient while that sets. Okay, so this is the left section where our gingerbread girl is going to go. And there's going to be a little bit of a border around her as well as on the left side, but we want to kind of nudge this over to, basically we're aligning it to the right, but you don't want to encroach over this little scored line area here, and you also want to make sure that it's flush on the bottom. Okay, so let's do that. Let's get some glue on this entire piece. And we'll position that in place and move on to the next section. Should go together pretty quickly. It's just kind of like a little scrapbooking project, not too difficult. Okay, and again, remember, nice even border all the way around, nice and flush at the bottom, and then not encroaching over the score mark there on the right-hand side. So that looks good right there, just like that. And perfect. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we're going to work on this next section here. We're going to put the bottom in place first so that we can get that nice and aligned. And that is going to be centered, but also flush at the bottom. So make sure that when you get that aligned, that it's nice and flush at the bottom. We want to kind of keep things nice and consistent here. Oh, now glue just decided that it wanted to work properly. Okay, so again, centered, but flush at the bottom, just like that. Okay, and then if you need to, just kind of nudge it and adjust it so that you get it just right. There we go. Okay, and we've got this little piece here. I'm going to attach the bells first, so we can flip that over. Now there's 3 sets of bells. 2 are the same size, and I believe one is a little bit smaller by just a tad. The smaller one is going to go on the envelope. Okay, the 2 that are just a tad larger, it's not that much bigger, so you're going to kind of pay attention to make sure you get the right one. These are going to go here on both of these panels. You can see that other one there. Okay, now this piece is going to go right here. You want to make sure that you keep a nice even border all the way around it. Get it nice and centered. I think that is about, that's about where we want it there. So we have a nice little thin line between these 2 sections here. Okay, so let's flip this over and get our glue on this piece. And this is the little area that you can add your little stamp, you can write your little sentiment, or you can do both. Since there's 2 sections like this, you can stamp on one and then journal on the other, write your little message, your little greeting, whatever it may be. Okay, just make sure that you get it nice and aligned, nice and centered, nice even border all the way around. Okay, and the left side is all done. So when it closes up, you're just going to see her, and then you can see the little greeting. It's a very cute little card. Okay, so let's take a look at Mr. Gingerbread Man. And just like we did the first time, I'm probably just going to start. I'm going to start with the bottom here. So find the little snowdrift, and let's get that in place first. Doesn't really matter which one you do. Whatever you pick up is fine. And we'll get that nice and aligned. Make sure it's nice and flush at the bottom. Just like that. Take a look at the bottom, make sure it's flush, and press that into place. Just like that. Okay, then our little white piece is going to go right on here. Just like that. So let's get our glue out. This card should go together pretty quick. And like I said, we'll add some final embellishments. So take a look at the photo to see and get some ideas on what you can do to kind of jazz up the card a bit. But of course it is optional, so whatever you want to do. So just pop that in like the little puzzle that it is, and press that into place. Make sure it's nice and centered. If you have a little bit of that color in the background popping through, that's not a problem. That's going to happen occasionally. Still going to look great. Okay, so now we're going to do the brown layer. And just go easy on the glue. No sense in overdoing it. It's just going to spill out and cake up the project. We don't want that. Okay, so that's going to go right on that white layer. Take a look at where the eyes are. Make sure that those are aligned correctly. Everything else should just kind of fall into place. Okay, and Mr. Gingerbread Man has some pants. I think that's appropriate. So we're going to give him some pants with some suspenders to make him look cute. And you just want to kind of match that up with the side, the angled side, and then take a look at where the little suspender parts go. Those should match up with those little dips just to the left and right of his arms. And just make sure you get that centered, just like that. Okay, very good. And now, just like we did with the gingerbread girl, you want to make sure that you kind of nudge this over to the left a little bit and leave a little bit of a border around the outside, but don't encroach over the score mark. You can just leave a little bit of a hairline border there where the score mark is. Okay, so let's get him ready for action here. Just like that. And again, make sure it's also flush at the bottom. It wants to be flush at the bottom and then almost right up to that score mark, but not really. And then take a look at the alignment. Make sure you got a nice even border going all the way around. Okay, and fold it. That looks good. Beautiful. Okay, and I'll take this little snowdrift, and that guy's going to go right here. Again, this one's going to be centered, but make sure that it's flush at the bottom. And let's apply our glue. There we go. Again, centered and flush at the bottom. There we go. And press that into place. And then we've got the same little section up above here with the pretty little bells. So let's get the bells in place. You could put the bells in later if you want. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. Okay, and I've got way too much glue on that. So I'm just going to hit that with my finger a bit. And you can kind of see that the bells kind of hug the little holly leaf there. And there are the balls of the bells up at the top. So you can use that as kind of a guide to make sure that you've got it aligned correctly. That's perfect. And then again, we're going to pop that right there. A nice thin little line on the bottom between the two sections and a nice even border all the way around on the sides and the top. Okay, so get your glue on this piece. This is kind of a thinner pattern paper, so I'm trying to be a little more sparse with the glue so it doesn't warp it. Okay, look for that thin line down at the bottom. Nice even border all the way around. Take a look at that. That looks good. And press that into place. Okay, look at that. All right, so there they are. And they are ready to go almost. Now let's take a look at our little house here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this large brown piece. You'll notice that on this piece, there's two pieces that look the same. This one has these little cutouts here. There's 4 of them total. And that's just to kind of help you get this centered onto this piece. So let's do that first. Let's get the house in place. And there's a lot of surface area here, so try to work efficiently. Okay, I might have to go back to the start here. Maybe not. Okay, and look at those little guides. You can kind of see where it's going to fit in. You want this piece to be flush with the bottom, and then you can see where those guides kind of guide you. Just like that. That's just to kind of help you get it nice and centered. Okay, and press that down into place, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to start at the bottom and put my little snowdrift in because that needs to be flush, and I'm kind of just using that as a guide to kind of set the tone for the rest of the assembly of this. As long as I know that I've got that nice and aligned with the bottom, everything else that kind of fits like a puzzle should fit nice and accurate for us. Okay, so get your glue on this piece here and pop it into place. Just make sure that it's flush with the bottom and that you're matching it up with the little cutouts and the flourishes there. Okay, let's take a look at that. That looks pretty good, nice and flush at the bottom. Press that down. Okay, and then we'll just work our way up the design here until we have that set, and then we can just piece it together. It's pretty straightforward little card here. Okay, so now we've got this green piece. That's going to go right in there. It should just kind of fit like I said, like a little puzzle. And make sure that this little scallop, the center one, is kind of centered here as well. And then the rest of this should just fall into place there. So get your glue, pop it on this piece, go easy on it. Try to hit the little scalloped areas too, here and there, wherever you can. Just like that. Maybe just a little bit on top there. And hold it from hold it using the center scallop there. Make sure that it's centered. And just pop it into place. And that looks pretty good. There we go. Okay, so that's in place. And now we're going to pop the door in place here. And that's going to go right here, right in the center of the green, just like that. Okay, so let's get our glue on the back of this guy. And this piece has some little guides, little markers for the placement of the heart. Now I'm going to center this so that I can just make sure that I'm getting it nice and centered. There we go. There we go. Okay. I think that looks good. All right, and then there's two little markers there for our little heart. So just throw some glue on your heart and pop that right into place, nice and centered. There we go. Okay, we've got a little window fixture here. Get our glue around that. And you'll notice that there's a little marker there. It's kind of like the negative of a cross. And you want to pop the center of the window right into that little marker area, and that should be centered as well. There we go. And then all that's left to do is put our little snow drifts in place. That's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to make sure that that's nice and flush with the top part of our roof on the brown piece, just like that. And I'm probably going to start by making sure that that's nice and aligned, and then just working my way up the very edge there, and then making sure that it's aligned there, and wham, wham, bam. That looks nice. Okay, so the, well, 5 sections, technically 3, but those are all together now. And what we're going to do is we're going to end up sandwiching this. Well, we're going to use this piece here. And the idea is we got these tabs here. We're going to glue these tabs onto this piece here. And then once we're done, we'll put this on top to kind of hide these tabs. Okay, so I would use your surface to make sure that the alignment is good. Okay, and throw some glue on these tabs here. And maybe just work it out to the edge, tack it up a little bit so it doesn't, once it grips, it grips. Okay, and just kind of nudge that over. Make sure that it's nice and flush and aligned at the bottom. And that looks pretty spot on, I'd say. And then just fold that tab over, like so. Okay, and then you're gonna want to fold this over as well. Make sure that it's nice and aligned at the bottom. Nice and flat down here, like that. Okay, so that's nice. And we're gonna do the same thing with the other side. So get your glue on these tabs. And just kind of spread that glue out. Thin it out, tack it up. And lay that down on your surface. Make sure you get that nice and lined up at the bottom. I want everything to be as lined up as possible, and then just fold those tabs over. There we go. And give it a fold. Make sure it folds nicely, and make sure it's nice and aligned. Okay, there we go. Cool. And then all that's left to do is just pop this guy right into place here in the center to hide those tabs and finish off our card. So you can see it was a pretty straightforward piece. And then of course, with every card that you get from Dreaming Tree, you get a coordinating envelope to go with it, and we'll go ahead and show you how that goes together here in just a second. Let's just finish this off. Okay, and I'm just kind of looking at the peak of the roof here, getting that lined up first. Pardon my head for a second. Get it nice and centered, nice and flush at the bottom, and press down. As you're pressing down, just make sure that it folds over. There we go. And there is your beautiful card. Opens right up, and yeah, it's a good one. Very cute. Okay, so let's take a look at our envelope real quick. It's just 3 pieces. Now I've taken and I've already folded all of the flaps and such. And then on the front, I'm gonna put a little bell on there. So remember, this one's a little bit smaller or bigger. It's just the one that's different. I don't recall exactly if it's smaller or bigger. I'll put a little bit of glue on there, and then it's gonna kind of hug, just like it does up there, it's gonna hug the little spot for the holly. Just make sure you get it in the right spot. Just like that. Okay, and then we have this little accent piece. It's going to go on the inside, and a little bit of it's going to show through up here. So what we want to do is we want to get our glue. Let me take a look at this real quick again. Hold on. Yeah, we're going to put our glue on just this piece here because we don't know how far out we can go with the glue if we were to put it on the green piece. So just kind of throw the glue on there like that. Get a little bit into the little nooks and crannies here. Okay, and then what I do is I just kind of drop it flat onto my surface, line it up left and right, make sure it's centered, and then just flip this right onto it. And that should make it easy to assemble this. There we go. Okay, and then finally, you just take and fold this up, fold these, oops, sorry, like that. Fold these in first and then fold this up. And we're just gonna put a nice thin little line of glue down the very edge here. And fold that up, press and hold. And you have your beautiful coordinating envelope for your card. And again, like I said, we're gonna add a little bow in her hair, a little bow tie, maybe a bow on the top of the house as well, but that's it, guys. And then you just fold her up and pop her into your envelope, and it is ready to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed the process. If you did, please take a moment and hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. I'd love to see the numbers go up. You can see them there behind me. And if you make this or anything from our new Gingerbread bundle, we'd love to see it. So join us in the official group on Facebook by doing a search for Dreaming Tree Group, where you can join myself and the 16,000 plus other dreamers that inspire us daily. So I hope you guys enjoyed the process. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to crafting with you again.